What's going on YouTube? It's King Mike here. Yeah, my hair's a little wacky. Um, just had a good power nap, so yeah, oh man, I definitely needed it. So please excuse my appearance, but it's okay. Um, that means I slept good. But no, I just had something on my mind, and I just thought that I would share. I just wanted to share this, you know, and hopefully somebody sees this and they're encouraged by this. And if you like it, hey, I'm glad I could help. If you didn't, thanks for coming and looking at my channel anyway. If you comment something good, okay, cool. If you comment something terrible, just so you know, I could care less if you didn't like it, and all of that, because there are just some people who like to troll and they have no life, but that's not what this video is about. So moving on, um, you know, uh, when I woke up, I was hit with something that I hadn't really thought about in a while, and it was how far that I've come in terms of not only my channel, but in terms of life. When I first started doing my videos on YouTube, I was in college. Um, I was in the I was right in the thicket of college. Um, the tests were coming up. The seniors were on their way to graduating. I still had a little while longer to go. So, I was in the thicket of school and college and all of that. And then I also had, the job I was working, pretty late. And there were things outside of school and outside of the job that, there were things going on outside of those things that I had to come to realize certain realities, that there were some things that I could not change, and I wish that I could. If I had the power to do so, I would change them in a heartbeat, or even trade places. There are some things that I just had to accept. And, you know, it was really, really difficult to go through school and not worry about these things that were going on, or to go to work and not worry about, how could I help her, just in general be worried. It was very difficult not to worry. But then, as time went on and I really, you know, thought about YouTube and I really started making my videos, it was something that, I learned over the course of, the last few years, especially coming out of high school. And it was something that I learned that, you know, is now a lesson that I live by. And I've come to a realization that I now tell other people, you know, because, people struggle. I don't care if you're rich, I don't care if you're poor, black, white, whatever, it doesn't matter. People struggle. And sometimes, or a lot of times rather, especially in the world of today, people just need to be encouraged, man. People need to be told, you know, that, hey, yeah, life is pretty ridiculous sometimes, but it's not all bad. It doesn't have to be. And for me, one thing that I learned from my experience, I'm not, I can't speak for anybody else other than myself. So this video is purely from personal experience, okay? But for me, one thing I realized, or that I learned, was that sometimes in this life, if you don't have the hard times show up, if you don't have the bad times happen, then it'll be very difficult to appreciate the good that comes right after. Sometimes you need to get knocked on the head just to remember that, hey, I don't want to be knocked on the head again. Some things are just, reminders. And of course, you know, there are some things out there where it's like, well, hey, you know, such and such is the reason why this happened, so why should this apply to me? Well, you know, choices. Some things, that people do affect others. And, you know, it may not affect other people or yourself directly, but it does have a profound effect. Any choice you make, it can very well affect somebody else. But in most cases in the world of today, people aren't going to notice, let alone people are not going to care. But, for me, because I care about things, or at least I try. That's why I'm trying to make videos, and do things like this. That's why I always have that saying toward the end of my videos, you can be mighty in anything and everything that you do. I don't say that just to say that because it sounds good. It's because I literally had to do that, growing up. I had to do that just going through school and college and high school. I had to do that, throughout most of my young adult life. And, now that I am where I am now, even though I'm still learning, I have learned a lot of things in that time frame where I've learned enough to know, hey, not everything in life is going to be easy. Not everything in life is going to be given to you, and that's not to say that everything is given to me. But there are just some things in life that, you're going to struggle with. There are some things in life you're going to wrestle with, day and night, it doesn't matter. You're going to struggle with some things, and it's going to be things that literally make you want to give up. Things that make you just want to be mad at the world and be all hateful, and just lash out at people. But, again, the lesson that I learned going through these things is that sometimes the bad things, the hurt, the pain, sometimes those things come along so that way you will one day be able to appreciate the good that you're trying to get to. And of course, that saying's reversible as well. You know, sometimes, you need to know, well, okay, sure, that's with bad, but, what about if you got things good? Well, I say it this way. This is just my opinion, If you have things in life and it's always good, how will you know what to look for when the bad things come? That's why it's a thing called balance. You know, people just need balance. And for me, I'm still trying to find that balance. I don't have it all together. I'm 22 years old. I don't have it all together. I wish I did. And in certain cases, I should have had it together or certain things together, but I don't. And, I'm not going to sit here and trip because, that's why you live life. You don't know what will happen. You don't know who you'll meet. It doesn't matter who you are. You have the capacity and the potential to end up in a place that you never dreamed of, you know? And that's why, for me, I just do what I do. Whatever the case may be, some people may like what I do, some people don't. It's just, kind of like, almost like YouTube, like the video I made last night, you know? That's the most dislikes I've ever had, and I've even had a hateful comment. And guess what? I'm still not tripping. Why? Because for me, the end goal is this. I would rather be in a place where I can say I have no regrets than to be in a place that I don't have to be in and just looking and wishing like, oh man, I wish I was there. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. I don't want, to spend the rest of my life wishing for things. I don't want to spend the rest of my life admiring things. I want to be where I've always wished. I want to have what I never had, you know. I want to be able to say I have instead of I want. I want to be able to say I now live instead of I wish I lived, whatever lifestyle that it is that I choose. So, you know, sometimes it's just literally one of those things. Life is going to happen regardless, or as that great saying is what is it? Yeah, time waits for no man, and that's true, you know. Some people I grew up with, they're gone. Of course, they were the last people I expected to be gone, but they're gone, you know. People that I held dear, close to my heart, you know, they're out doing their own thing, and they're doing really well. Of course, I always wondered, it's like, well, shoot, what is it about them that, got them to that point? Why is it that they're able to be there and not me? I used to think that. I don't think that now, but I used to, you know. People that I knew, or that I still am in contact with, people are out doing their thing. And it used to be the scenario of, well, shoot, I need to get like this person or get like that person, or hey, such and such is having a family, all sorts of different things, you know. And I would just be like, man, they look like they have it together. But then that's when, it really hit me. It's like all this stuff didn't happen overnight, you know? Greatness isn't always something that happens in a night. Some people, they're just fortunate enough for it to happen that way. But for the majority, mm-mm. You gotta work for it. You gotta grind for it. You know? You gotta do whatever it takes to get to where you want to go. You gotta be the dream that you want to see. Um, you got to be the voice that you want to be heard. So, um, yeah, I used to think like that. Like, man, if I could get like so and so, I will be fine. I will be straight. I will be set. But then after a while, I just thought to myself, it's like, but wait, why do I have to be like them? Why can't I be where I want to be? Like, what does Nehemiah want? What do I want? You know? So, and yes, my name is Nehemiah. I don't think I've ever said what my name is, but that is my name. So, anyway, moving on. It's like, well, what do I want out of life? What are my aspirations? What can I do to get to where I want to be? And well, while I may not have a definitive answer on where, I do know the conditions that I want to be in. And the conditions I want to be in, in my later life is I want to be in a place that is a place that I could only dream of. I want to be in a spot where it's like I don't have to worry about certain things anymore. Um, I want to be in a position where I can go out and help people that I've always wanted to help, and in a way that's bigger than something as simple as just, hey, I hope you feel better and stuff. Like, no, I want to go out and do things for people. I want to help make a difference for people. And there's a lot of things that I want to do for others. And after a while, it was just one of those things. It's like, you know what? I can do that. Instead of saying I want to do that, I can. In fact, that's why I, started telling myself for a while, it's like, instead of starting tomorrow, start today. Today is all the time you have. A lot of people say, oh, well, I've got another 5 years, 10 years, I'm good to go. But folks, tomorrow is never promised. Shoot, you're not even promised to return to the same bed that you sleep in. You're not guaranteed to return to that same bed with 2 eyes, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 ears, whatever. You're not even guaranteed that. Yeah, that's how crazy life is. That's just the reality. That is the conditions. That is the rules that you play by when you play the game of life. You're not guaranteed a thing. You're not guaranteed to be rich. You're not guaranteed to be anything. There's a lot of things that people take for granted. And for me, dealing with the things that I went through, I've learned that, having a little bit is okay. There's nothing wrong with having, a little bit. It doesn't always have to be silver and gold. Sometimes you just need someone who's there, even if they annoy you. Sometimes, that's the better thing to have. Sometimes that's the greater good, because for some people, it's a lot worse. The only thing they get are people in their ears telling them how messed up they are, cussing them out, all that junk. Like, that's why for me personally, I appreciate the little things, and then I even, have a code that I live by also. And that code is, the simple can be found in the complex, and the complex can be found in the simple. If you don't know what that means, live a little, you know. And of course, I will explain what that means to me, because it may mean something different to you or whoever else is watching. For me, that simply means, sometimes the biggest things in the world aren't where you're going to find your happiness. And that's why, for me, certain things that are complex or seem complex, are simple. And then for me, the small things are what I lean toward. The small things for me are what bring the biggest happiness. That dinner someone bought you and they didn't have to, or that smile that someone shot at you that they didn't have to. There's just tiny things in life that sometimes make the biggest difference. And so, that's just me. But anyway, I'm done with this video. I just thought I'd share a little bit, of my experience with you all. I hope and pray that this touched somebody. I hope that you liked this video. Like, comment, subscribe, be mighty in anything and everything that you do. Don't let anybody stop you. All right, folks, good night and peace.